Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. We are the mob. Memphis OVER BULL. Every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. I'm your boy, your host, Holiday, Ryan Patterson, the custodian. Mr. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Great show tonight. Great show tonight. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have to wait for the response and the feedback. We know we got some good shit tonight. All right, so major thing tonight. As you all know, everyone in the city knows, the body has been identified as Tamia Taylor. As Tamia Taylor, to update everyone on that. We'll get into that. We also have a brother that was killed within the custody of the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. In the custody of them, we'll get to that story. And like I said, the main topic of the day is I want the chat mob and the viewers and everyone watching. How do you see Memphis in 20 years from now? And a lot of people can't even imagine things getting any worse or even getting any better for that part. So if you feel either way that you feel, I really want to know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts? I mean, we're all some way or some shape or form, you're connected to Memphis. Whether you be a father, uncle, mother, grandmother, grandfather, 20 years is relevant to those who are related to you. And I think if people previous to us would have thought about 20 years now, if we had this thinking in 2003, just imagine how Memphis could look in 2023. Obviously, somebody, there was a disconnect somewhere because the current state seems like nobody was planning. And I think that's a problem within our community. I mean, we're going up against opposing forces, the opposition who plans everything. Everything is totally strategic. And we don't see things down the line much in our community. I think it's under so much stress. Life tends to make things harder. Now, mayor elections coming up. And I just want people to think about this. They were talking about before we get into the story with Gershun Freeman, because that's our main story tonight. They made a topic on Twitter about crime and the representation, because I was just mentioning the mayor's race in Memphis, and we all know early voting is out right now, in case you all want to vote. Now check this. Crime. So, someone on Twitter, that's why we had to black the name out, made a graphic about percentage of, the population by race, right? So, you got St. Louis and Detroit. St. Louis 46%, Detroit 76%, Memphis 64.2%, right? So they also did the representation as far as, politics for each party of each city. And every city, as far as the mayor, was a Democratic mayor. All right, and these are the top cities of crime based off the population. They have a high population of Black and Hispanic people that are voting for Democrats. This doesn't help. I don't get into all the political stuff, talking about I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican and whatever. I really judge people for what they are and what they bring to the table. But this does not look good for the Democratic Party. And I know some people that we got running for the mayor of Memphis right now are all represented as other Democratic Party. So that's just something I thought that someone put that up in response to the highest crime. First the crime came, then somebody responded back with the race population. So, something to think about. All right, so Gershun Freeman, brother that was killed in custody down at 201 by, I think, 8 or 9 guards. Had a few issues, suffered from mental illness. We'll get into it. Let's get into that story because this is major because this happened a year ago. And Floyd Bonner's running for mayor. So he's blaming, the media for bringing this up now. But, so he said it's all to hurt his campaign for mayor of Memphis. But I still think it's relevant. But there are a few things it is that you can see the clear corruption that's going on in Memphis. And speaking of corruption, Ben Crump lives in Memphis. He got to be living here, bro. Y'all be getting this man so paid with all this corruption by not just doing your job the right way. It's crazy to me. Y'all can't beat people for nothing to the point of death. And I'll get to that. And Judge Joe Brown, or former Judge Joe Brown, he spoke on this too. It's a lot of things. This is going to be a great show. Let's get into it without further ado. First clip, Gershun Freeman, for those of you who don't know.
The family fighting for justice and now joined by national civil rights attorney Ben Crump.
Gershun Freeman died while in custody at 201 Poplar last year, and tonight his family is not only calling for the officers involved to go to jail, but also the sheriff to pay for what happened to Freeman. WREG's Ashley Paul joins us live now outside 201 Poplar. Ashley, break it down for us.
Yeah, Steph, Greg, while mourning the death of Gershun Freeman, the family says they're also calling for justice inside.
Also, can't be light on y'all. Everybody coming in, watching the video, make sure you hit the like button. Hit the share button, hit the like button. It matters, y'all. We trying to, drive this algorithm. You hear me? Hit the like button, everybody. Show the mob some love.
At the jail.
There is nothing political about a homicide.
Attorneys and family members of Gershun Freeman standing on stage pointing fingers at Sheriff Floyd Bonner.
The entity responsible for this young man's death has decided instead to try to make this story about Sheriff Bonner's re-election.
Video shows 33-year-old Gershun Freeman running naked through 201 Poplar, where he was being held on charges of kidnapping and threatening his ex-girlfriend. Corrections officers try to subdue Freeman in a way civil rights attorney.
All right, let me explain why you see the brother running around in the nude like that. He was being held in a suicidal center or a suicidal cell because he was deemed suicidal. So when they call it the quote-unquote butt naked room at 201. They put you in there to punish you. You deem you harmful to yourself. So that's why he's running around in the nude. But there's more to this story. There's so many layers to this story. Y'all stay with me.
Ben Crump says was excessive and inhumane.
I mean, they had, handcuffs they were beating them with. They had, the heavy metal keys they were beating them with. They were beating them with the pepper spray canisters. 9
corrections officers seen in the video are now facing charges.
Also, now, look at these photos. Third brother on the top row, the first and the third. Stephen Jones, Damian Cooper. Get him out.
2 of them for murder. But in a press conference last week, Sheriff Bonner said he believes the officers who fall under the jurisdiction of the sheriff were indicted to tarnish his campaign to be the next mayor of Memphis. Freeman's family says that is shameful.
9 people involved. And I say Sheriff Bonner is just as accountable as the 9 people that were there physically.
So tonight, as they call for the conviction of the 9 officers facing charges, they also call for reform within the jail system.
Ultimately, it was Shelby County citizens, the Shelby County grand jury, that returned indictments after watching the video. Nothing about that is political.
Now, the attorneys say they would welcome a Department of Justice investigation similar to the one happening with the Memphis Police Department. We reached out to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, and they say they have no comment at this time. For now, reporting live at 201.
All right, so they didn't. This was a year ago. All this happened. Now it's just coming back now with the whole lawsuit and all, because the footage just got released. It already happened. Now, The medical examiner's office found the cause of death to be cardiovascular disease due to a physical altercation and possible psychotic disorder. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. Yeah, so those are, psychotic disorder, cardiovascular disease caused by the physical altercation, though. So he had a disease, but still determined that you all caused it by the beatdown that you gave him. So here's something else that goes with that, right? Here's the witness. We got a witness and we got a cellmate. Go to this. Listen to what the witness said about this. About the officers who Bonner said he's standing by no matter what.
Well, we're learning more about the 9 Shelby County Corrections deputies charged in the October 2022 death of Gershun Freeman. According to federal court records, 2 jailers, Stephen Jones and Damian Cooper, were named as defendants in another case. An inmate in the Shelby County Jail filed a lawsuit in 2021. He claimed the officers violated his civil rights. Now, both sides settled out of court in March of this year, meaning the lawsuit was...
Well, so why you have a pending case, someone's already filed on you, you end up beating someone to the point of death. A lot going on in Memphis.
Still pending at the time of Gershun Freeman's death back in October of 2022. ABC 24's Jay Shakur has been digging into that lawsuit and the history of these deputies all day. And Jay, you were able to track down an inmate who witnessed Freeman being beaten, right?
That's right. I spoke to an inmate who's currently suing. He says he not only witnessed Gershun Freeman.
I want everybody to listen to this because these brothers were incarcerated during the time they witnessed these things, and people act like just you don't even care what they did or what, they can't be telling the truth. They were in jail. Nah, bro, get on with all that. Listen to them, hear them out, because the truth, don't kill the messenger, bro. Just listen to the message.
Beating. He says he experienced some of the same treatment by some of the same correctional officers.
It's not called the Shelby County Jail, it's called the death trap. My experience in the death trap, I'm still affected by it today.
This former pretrial inmate says though he's released, he still fears for his safety. Duke claims in October of 2022, he saw firsthand what much of Memphis saw later through released surveillance video, the beating of Gershun Freeman.
I did a year there. That last year I did recently, that was correct. That was probably the worst time I ever did, and that was the shortest time.
He describes what he saw and heard after he says deputies opened Freeman's pod door against jail policy.
This man was screaming for his mother like he was 5. You have to hear the audio of this. The surveillance, okay, it's very graphic. That's not the graphic part.
You see, we can't hear what's really going on, so we just got to try to pull details from the footage. He was screaming for his mother. Makes me think about Tyree Nichols. Makes me think about George Floyd. And you're getting beat to the point you call for your mother. Man, this is tragic, bro, but why is it a trend? Why is it a trend in our community, right? And he was dealing with mental health issues as well, but nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Graphic part is what we hear, what I never can unhear, sir. Where I go to sleep and have to jump out my sleep every day at 3 o'clock.
This inmate's claims are not too different from another inmate's, Elvis Hester, who filed and settled a lawsuit in 2021. From the lawsuit, we learned both Stephen Jones and Damian Cooper, who are now 2 of the 9 officers indicted in the Freeman case, had prior violations and reports of harassment. The lawsuit claims Jones and Cooper in July 2020, along with 2 other Shelby County Corrections deputies in 201 Poplar, verbally and physically harassed inmates. It states they also violated their First Amendment rights by retaliating against them for filing a prison grievance. Jones and Cooper then filed false offense reports against the inmate, according to the lawsuit, saying the inmate assaulted staff. Jones received...
See, it's not just a black thing, Everybody want to talk about the flesh vessels. These brothers are black from the community. It's all about corruption and decision making. And who are you for? Power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So within the jail system, this is the power. And it's been corrupt for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. But, you know,
a 10-day suspension without pay for the incident. But both Jones and Cooper remained employed. As Cycle attorney Claiborne Ferguson.
Right, so how do they stay employed? They're still employed right now by the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. Right now.
Says is perpetuated by staffing issues.
They've been having some real bad problems with staffing this year. The staffing issues probably lead to some bad employment decisions.
As he and Freeman's case proceeds, Duke hopes for justice and systemic change.
And I showed them their policy set forth by the same person trying to run for mayor. And they told me his words don't matter. You're going to be in suicide next. You're going to be like Gershun Freeman if I don't stop making grievances.
Did you hear that? He got threatened that you're going to be just like Gershun Freeman. You don't stop making grievances. We're going to put you in the butt naked room if you don't shut up. You don't shut up, bro. You don't be quiet. You keep talking. This is exposing a lot of things. We're going to get on the mental health of children and people in Memphis, too, because that is a major thing going on in Memphis. It's got spotlighted, too. But, yeah. This is crazy.
Now, I reached out to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office this morning for comment on that previous federal civil rights case, but we have not heard back. Also reached out for the personnel and disciplinary files for these indicted officers. Still haven't heard back. Live in downtown, I'm Jay Shakur.
All right, Chat Mob mentioned Sandra Bland. Poor chess move by Bonner, in my opinion. If you feel it's politically motivated, don't play into the bad politics. Yeah, well, he played right into it. He played right into it. I mean, the bad politics, because I got Bonner's response. I was going to play that. But he said he decided to stand with the Sheriff's Department. So that hurts you as a mayor, in my opinion. Right? I'm going to open the phone line, too, just a possibility somebody want to speak about how you view all of these topics are going into how we view Memphis in 20 years, and give me a response to all of these current events, because this Gershun Freeman case is very, very important. All right, so I got the witness, right? You heard the guy. King Day, I think King, I can't remember his last name. All right, his nickname, rather. All right, so this is Gershun Freeman's cellmate. This is his cellmate. So he was there, but this footage was a year ago. But we know at the mob, if it's relevant to what we're doing right now, you know, got to know your past to know your future. I'll definitely get to that comment when I get back. Gotcha. Let's check this out, because it goes with what you're saying about 201.
New tonight, a man who says he was the cellmate of a prisoner who was killed while in custody at 201 Poplar is speaking out. Investigators say Gershun Freeman died at the Shelby County Jail, but questions remained about what happened. Freeman was in jail for domestic violence charges. Jay Shakur has more.
Inmate Gershun Freeman died Wednesday evening while in custody at the Shelby County Jail. Family members are saying they got a call early Thursday morning that Freeman had been in a fight. Jacob Wilder says he was Freeman's cellmate at 201 Poplar.
Listen to this man. Listen to this man. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the share button.
Released Thursday, and he says he witnessed this altercation. Wilder claims the inmates were on lockdown for several days and dealing with unsafe living conditions.
They got into it because Mr. Freeman got sick and tired of, being locked down for 7 days straight with no food, no water, nothing. Not being able to call his family and his folks.
All right, so you hear that, right? You hear that, right? So locked down 7 days straight, no food, no water, no communication with your family, And of course, you know he was on medication. He had a few issues. So he was deprived of that as well. All right, keep listening.
Wilder alleges that Freeman and another inmate began arguing. Then Wilder says a correctional officer opened the cell's doors and allowed a physical fight to ensue between Freeman and another inmate.
All right, so you hear that, right? So after you deprive him of all his needs or whatever, it's just humanly rights. He gets into an altercation with someone in another cell nearby. They get into an argument. Words get exchanged. The guards take it upon themselves to open the cells and let them fight. This all took place the same night. Bro, this is like Memphis, bro. These folks and these people in these certain positions and in certain positions of power in this city, man. And it's not, like I said, it's not, we are 64% black. Yeah, I'll bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up after this. I'll bring the chat number up after this. Yeah, we 62% black, man. So a lot of this corruption is being done by us to our own. A lot of things are being done to our own people, by our own people, man. This is sad though. So they open the cages up, or cells up, like they were cages, like they had animals in it. Let them fight, right?
The CEO officer, he called for backup, you know, and that's when the DRTs, 4 of them, came out to Mr. Freeman. But they was beating him to death, stomping his head in, you know, and he was screaming, saying, "Stop, stop, stop." Pepper spraying him.
Wilder claims it was nearly an hour before any medical aid arrived.
He was unconscious, no speaking, no breathing, nothing, just laying there. With the nurses, they came and got him, picked his body up, and, you know, carted him off the pod.
Wilder claims he was told not to say.
And keep in mind, Floyd Bonner says, "I'm standing by it." I'm playing his response in a second too. I know y'all gotta say something about this.
Anything, but feels he has to share what he feels to be the truth.
I'm gonna speak on what I know, and what I know is what I know. Ain't nobody gonna tell me different.
In Memphis, I'm Jay Shakur.
This is still an open and ongoing investigation. We did reach out to the...
How much evidence do you need for this ongoing investigation? How long are we going? How long is this going to be ongoing, man? Damn. How much evidence do you need? It don't take that much evidence to convict me of a crime. If I go to 201, it does not take 5 people giving firsthand accounts of what I've done.
TBI about Wilder's claims,
Y'all
but
always
it didn't
talking
answer
about
our
the criminals.
questions. But the TBI says Freeman's body was sent for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death, and they're awaiting those results.
See, this was before the autopsy came. This is unbelievable. See what I'm saying? How we connect the dots, how everything's coming back. You gotta take a little backtrack sometimes. The phone line, 731-630-1740. If you got a few things you want to contribute to the mob. Yeah, so that's that. I really wanted to get the stories out the way before we got into opening the phone lines because we got to let Bonner respond. But you want to call in, I'll pause the story so y'all got the number. The number will be up on this screen, 731-630-1740. If you can't get through, hit me up on the chat mob. We'll make it happen. Definitely want to hear from everybody. But while we wait, while we do that, let's get to this. Bonner responded to this. Now, peep what he said, y'all. Because he's a top candidate for mayor of Memphis. Might be top 3, top 2. Right now it's Harrington, Paul Young, Floyd Bonner. They're the top 3.
First at 10, Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner, who is also a frontrunner in the Memphis.
We're going to get straight to it. You got to hear this.
Become hijacked by a political battle over Bonner's run for mayor.
I stand with these officers. I believe that if I were not running for another office, these indictments never would have happened.
I mean, just to start off with, I stand by these officers. Not a good look for you, brother. Not a good look at all, man. You can't stand for the stuff that we just heard. You want to stand with that? Or maybe you're misinformed, Bonner.
And I find this despicable.
That was Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner's message to the public after announcing 9 of his correctional officers were indicted in connection with the death of Gershun Freeman. The incident that led to his death was captured on video. Bonner claims the charges are connected to his campaign for mayor and the fact that Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy endorses his opponent Van Turner, leading to Davidson County DA Glenn Funk taking over.
Mr. Funk quickly released an edited jail surveillance video. Even Mr. Mulroy agrees that prosecutors are not permitted.
I mean, if he did edit, it helped you, because if we saw the previous footage, that would have made things worse.
To release a jail video surveillance footage to the public.
Mulroy says that is not the case, releasing a statement saying the release of the video was per the regular practice of DA Funk and not at all unusual. I haven't stated I disagree with it. Sheriff Bonner was legally able to release any and all of the videos in all jail death and officer-involved shooting cases. I favor such release in the name of transparency. Freeman family attorney Bryce Timmons accused Bonner of the exact same thing.
These indictments have not been made public yet. These indictments are not unsealed. He is trying to get ahead of this for the sake of his election campaign, and he violated state law to do it.
Bonner says he continues to stand by his department.
Let me be clear. No actions by any Shelby County Sheriff's Office employee caused Mr. Freeman's death.
The family attorney's response?
He's lying. He's not lying. He's responsible.
I mean, they just answer the phone line. Yo, you are live on the mob.
Peace, what's going on, good brother?
What's up, brother?
Great show, great topic.
Yeah, you know how we do it.
No doubt. Yeah, I was just calling in because I just wanted to comment and say that, you know, I experienced 201 Popular Man for a year.
Right.
I was locked up during 2019 during COVID, which was really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the conditions of the jail are breaking codes. Like, there are health hazards because it's not adequate air circulation. They don't have adequate staff.
Right.
So the gentleman that complained about being locked down for 7 days, that's because they don't have enough staff to cover all the inmates that are there. Like when I was locked up there, they had it's set up where they have pods, and in these pods they have 25 cells.
Right.
And then they open the cells, and then you can come out and into the little day room area where they got chairs, tables, you can take showers, use the phone. But if they don't have staff, then they only let you out like every other day or every,
Due to staff shortage.
Due to staff shortage. But if you are in the hole, it's even worse. If you're in the hole, you don't even get out sometimes to get a shower for every 4 days.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Due to the staff shortage. And that causes frustration, it causes anxiety.
You can't. Oh, wait. Give me 1 second. They said they can't hear you, bro. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think they can hear you now. You should be good. Start that over again now. Tell me about your experiences with when you said you were there for how long were you locked up, and what are the conditions and why?
Okay. So I was down there for about 15.
Hello? Did he drop?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, we back. They try to stop this from happening, and we not gonna let them. Bet.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure you could hear me. But yeah, so I was down there for about 15 months, starting in 2019.
Right.
And I've been down there as recently as the last 3 months for about a month. So I got a chance to assess and see what's going on from 2019 to 2020, and then here recently to see what the conditions are. And so, like I was saying, they don't have adequate staff. They don't have enough people on staff at 201 Poplar. And the buildings are old. They don't have air circulation. You don't get a chance to go outside and get fresh air.
Right.
Or get sunlight. So that impacts you psychologically. You know what I'm saying? And that causes frustration and anger and anxiety.
Yeah. Mental health.
It deals
Poor
with mental health. And then a lot of the brothers already got mental health issues from the trauma that they experienced from their childhood.
True.
And the state and the feds are now there. They have taken over an investigation to investigate the conditions of the jail.
Okay, this is why is it like, how much evidence do you need though? Is what I'm saying. It's an ongoing investigation, but we could use just your eyewitness account would be enough for me to say, all right, let me investigate this. Let me do there has to be some kind of, objective to keep Memphis corrupted, bro. Clearly. That's just what I'm thinking. It's too much going on. It's not just one thing, because even we fix one thing, it's like 12, 13, 14 other things that we got to focus on. Right.
Well, it's one thing that we never had before over the years to this degree, is having an extra set of eyes. And having the feds coming to assess closer what the leadership is doing in the jail, that is more accountability. And then having some of these organizations be uncovered in the police department, having them be uncovered, and now we know what their names are, now we know what they did. It took for somebody to get killed, unfortunately, but we still have to look at, okay, can we grow from this? Can we heal from this? And can we prevent this from ever happening again?
Right. And then the thing about it too, I want to talk, because we're talking about something so real. How much of this drives or perpetuates crime and mental health, poor mental health? How many people go through the 201, the cycle that you probably facing, you probably get a light charge, but then you go through that experience. That's enough to make you drive you over the ledge right there, just in that. And this is like, jail is supposed to be kind of like rehabilitating, right? Some way. And you shouldn't come out worse mentally than you did going in. And that's got to be a lot of that going on just from the conditions I'm hearing about one person. And even seeing somebody be treated like that, that's stressful, right?
Yep.
That's just, hearing that every night. Like dude said, I'm still hearing the screams right now. And I'm fearful of my life just to say something. It's that much corruption.
Yeah, it's definitely dysfunctional. Like when I was in there, I asked that very question to the council. Like you have a council that comes once a week to your part, and you can get envelopes, you can write letters to your family members. If you got any complaints or concerns, you can let the council know, right? So I asked her, I said, what programs do y'all have to help us while we in here if we dealing with some things that we need to grow from? And what she explained to me is, she said 201 Poplar is a facility that you go to in between time of you being sentenced or acquitted of your charge. So they are not equipped as a facility to provide programs.
Yeah, but you have. Go ahead. I'm gonna cut you out, but it's like you got people that's been on lower level for a year, months. Like, how are you not equipped to do that? You got people being held there, and you just don't have the resources. That's all I'm saying.
The way that it's structured, the 201 Poplar is a holding facility.
Right.
Like, so when you get your time, when you get sentenced,
right.
Like that's when you go to the penitentiary,
right?
Or you go out to the penitentiary,
right?
And those facilities are equipped to offer you programs that rehabilitate you.
I get what you.
But 201 Poplar is just a holding facility.
I get what you're saying. Right.
Yeah,
Like,
they just a holding facility.
for what I'm hearing, they doing more. I already heard about the butt naked room, but hey, bro, I'm appreciate that I got to get back to these other stories.
Yeah,
Please stay
Go ahead,
rocking with me.
family. Much love,
Man,
man.
much love. I
Love
appreciate
what
your
you doing
input,
with the
brother.
mob. Yeah, Memphis OVER BULL. Much love. Thank y'all. Peace.
Much love, fam. Yeah. Great input. Yeah, yeah, they are designed to make prison miserable. I agree with that. I agree. All right. Let's get on to this. So, now, that is major. We're going to get into the mental health crisis after this. We'll get back into it. Well, let's get to Tamia Taylor. This goes with that. They found her. They located the body. It was her. So far, they said no foul play, y'all. No foul play in the autopsy. Let's get to it. Hit the like button, everybody coming in. Hit the like button. Memphis OVER BULL. Let's get it.
Fox 13 News at 9 starts now with breaking news.
Beginning with that breaking news, the body found Saturday in the Mississippi River is that of 21-year-old Tamia Taylor. That was confirmed by both the Crittenden County Sheriff's Office and the Memphis Police Department tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Green.
And I'm Darcy Thomas. Taylor disappeared 2 weeks ago while on a riverboat ride with her friends. Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson is joining us live tonight near the river. Daniel, police say they do not suspect foul play.
Daryl and Darcy, good evening. Good evening to you at home. But the family, a representative of the family says they have questions about that. Now, that family representative who I spoke with today says Tamia Taylor's mother got an in-person visit from law enforcement today. That family representative works for the Doc Ellis Foundation. It's an organization that assists families of minority crime victims who have gone missing. Jasmine Ellis with that foundation tells me that they got word from the medical examiner that the death has been ruled a drowning, but she was told by the medical examiner other factors associated with their findings are being classified as undetermined. She says they have questions.
So they found her body. There might be the point that they can't really determine if there was foul play at this point. I mean, she was, missing for 2 weeks? 2 weeks in water? Maybe some problems with that. Maybe some complications with that.
About what exactly the undetermined part means. You may recall that Taylor's body was found Saturday on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi River. That was after the riverboat company confirmed that Taylor had made it onto that boat. That was verified by surveillance, but there was not proof that she ever left the boat. We do know that she was on that riverboat ride to celebrate her birthday.
So I'm thinking they have, from everything that I've read, and I've seen, I've watched, they got footage of her, like, right before they make it back to the shore, they got cell phone footage of her being on the boat. So in that time frame, what happened?
Jasmine Ellis with the Doc Ellis Foundation speaks here about Taylor's mother getting the news today of that death confirmation.
You know, she's devastated. You have that type of hope that it's not your loved one, and then you get the answer, and it's a different type of feeling. So I think right now she's feeling a little overwhelmed, and naturally the emotions that a mother would feel if they lose their daughter.
Now, she wants to stress that the family says that law enforcement has been great as it relates to this case when it comes to communicating updates with the family. But as you heard me say off the top, the family still has questions tonight. Coming up at 10 tonight, Ellis, that woman you heard from there with the foundation, she speaks more about that ruling that
Yeah, so like I said, they're ruling it a drowning. So at this point, I guess they're thinking she fell over while she was drunk. She left her cell phone at the table. Her friends didn't report anything. Or just thinking accidental death. Still, man, things don't sound right. But they never do in situations like this. Very sad situation. Mother of 2 young children. And that's why I always talk about the fathers, man. As a black father myself, and I know a bunch of lots of us in the chat mob are black fathers. Just haven't seen anyone say anything, the father of the children or her own father. It's just been a single black mother speaking on the news, crying again, something that we see far too often. Far too often. We cover these things, these stories far too often on the mob, man, and just in general, bro. That's a trend that I could see a lot less of. But, yeah, it's still can't rule out foul play, man. I just don't. Something's not right. And then for that riverboat, now remember when I first covered this, I told you guys that the riverboat company was, well, we have no reason to believe she went overboard. I was like, you got to keep in mind, this is a corporation. They're going to always protect their own ass by all means. So to keep them out of the lawsuit, they wanted to put foul play on it, knowing that they should have had cameras on a boat with people drinking. Yeah, so, yeah, you got people getting drunk on a boat. I mean, you making your money. I mean, the boat's not cheap, so why not put cameras on it just in case anything happened with people drinking and partying and doing whatnot. All right, so we talked about this. I want to get to the mental health crisis in Memphis, too. But first, before I do, let's go. It's Black Restaurant Week in Memphis. Yeah, they're closing definitely. They should be closed for good, though. Nobody's going down there after that. All right, Black Restaurant Week in Memphis right now. If you go to these restaurants, they got some kind of special going. They got 20 restaurants right now. Go support your own. Support the people. Support Memphis, Black Memphis restaurants. I got the list right here for you. So check the list out. These people are running specials. Most of them for the most part. So they got a deal going. So go, you stop by. Y'all like these places. Support them. I think, and I just saw Debo's, they opened something new. They opened an entirely new restaurant, though. Shout out to Debo's. They've been here for a minute. Cupcake Cutie. You got some delicious cupcakes downtown on South Main Street. You go there quite often. Straight Drop Seafood. Okay. But yeah, check them out. They're all running deals. And the famous Makita's homemade cookies is on the list as well. Get you some of the Dolph cookies up there, y'all. Support them, support them. All right. This is the mental health crisis. Now, I want you all to keep in mind, this goes into what we've already talked about with the situation with Gershun Freeman and him not being able to get medication, the way he was treated when he was locked up. And his mother said that his anxiety and depression derived from being a black man and just dealing with society. I looked for that article. I read so many articles on it. I could not find that article where she was quoted as to that caused a lot of things, the things we deal with, and the fact that we don't really have platforms to talk about it. And which for a future video, we view depression as a weakness within our community. Depression is not weak. I mean, the weaker thing is being afraid to talk about something. That's fear. But if you're facing something, bro, you just got to, face it. No, you can't. And then the worst thing you can say to people is like, man up when they're going through depression. That's not the right thing to say. That just makes people deal with things. So we got to learn better things to say when somebody's dealing with something. It's like, man, just man up, bro. Just deal with it. Like, nah, they usually call somebody to snap because they feel alone. Just hear them out, man. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes you don't even have to say something, bro. Just listen to them. You always got to tell somebody what to do, man. But yeah, check this out. Mental health crisis with the children in Memphis. This was a crisis that they want to talk about.
Nice to be here in through the nose.
Sometimes a deep breath is vital.
And exhale.
A moment to pause, reflect, process.
Trauma is going to happen. I don't think there's a way around it.
Even at a young age.
But once you actually learn how to cope and how to deal, now that gives you a different perspective.
Sharonda Ford started Brown Skin Yoga in Whitehaven with the intent to teach yoga to underserved communities. She started.
I know we already covered the yoga school. I know this, but just something that's just more important than this clip I want to talk about.
Started working with her first school right as the pandemic hit.
When we were practicing yoga on Zoom, sometimes the parents, they would be in the background and they would come and join us and they would practice as well.
She says her curriculum became crucial, helping students improve their focus, self-awareness, and relieve stress and anxiety. Memphis Shelby County Schools also saw the benefits.
Photos is gonna look like this.
She's now working with truant students, athletes, and in multiple schools. On this day in May, we met her at A. Maceo Walker Middle. She taught several poses and breathing techniques.
Take some of that wisdom that you have and start pouring it into things like this.
Their PE and health teacher, Charles Peace, says most of the students had never done yoga.
I think there's so many negative influences on our youth, especially in the inner city.
Inhale, legs lift. Hold it there.
I really want to ensure that the district is focusing on the whole child, not just them as far as academics, but them socially, physically, and emotionally as well.
And exhale.
I heard the birds, felt the sun on my face. It was really nice.
This student loved it.
You wouldn't expect this to come from school, and it could really help you calm down and take a moment.
Take a moment in a troubling time for kids. For the past decade, mental health concerns in children have been steadily rising.
This is what I was talking about. Check this out.
Then the pandemic hit, ushering in a new set of challenges like social isolation, devastating losses, and sudden financial family hardships. The CDC reported during the pandemic, 55% of children were emotionally abused by their parent or caregiver. 11% were physically abused.
So 55% of children were emotionally abused during the pandemic by their parent or their caretaker. Is that not alarming? I know these numbers are, this is the CDC. I mean, trust the source if you trust anybody with numbers. Only 11% were physically abused. That's bad, but 55% of children emotionally abused. That's like, I guess people are ignoring them. They don't feel like they got anybody they can speak to. I don't know, so many different ways of saying that they were emotionally abused, but that's alarming, bro.
Schools, normally there to keep children safe and connect them to services, were virtual. Emergency department visits for mental health rose among children.
Children's mental health problems, up 24% for 5 to 11-year-olds, 31% from 12 to 17-year-olds. This is, bro, I mean, like I'm saying, bro, like, this is what we got to think about. Now, they're going to also talk about black children.
I just hope it would all get better as life got back to normal, but social workers report many kids are still experiencing a high level of mental health challenges, forcing medical experts to sound the alarm, like Dr. Alpha Stewart.
Peep this sister, what she's going to say about this, y'all.
We're in a public health emergency. There is no question.
Stewart is the director of the Center for Youth Advocacy and Wellbeing at UT Health, which works with children with mental illness, trauma, those being pulled into gangs or are already in the system.
So we're in this emergency, then why aren't more people responding?
Well, that's a very good question, and we try to answer that every day with the resources that we offer. More people don't respond because for the most part, they don't know what to do.
She recently held a trauma summit to address it.
I tell people talking about trauma and understanding behavior as a result of trauma is not an excuse, it's an explanation.
Stewart says a child's brain is...
I love that. I love that. We're not making an excuse for the behavior that we're seeing. We need an explanation for the things that we're seeing so we can know how to handle them. I love that. We're not saying, well, they're doing that because of this and let them do it. No, we need to know how to fix it and not why it happened in the first place. That's how we fix it. We got to know the cause of these problems.
Developed. They're going through puberty, and those changes drive them to seek approval from their peers. Then add new challenges from the pandemic and core issues like poverty, structural racism, housing instability, and food insecurity.
Let's take that back. That is what say that one more
Issues
time.
like poverty, structural racism, housing instability, and food insecurity.
Now, the recipe of destruction. The vicious cycle. That's it. Poverty, housing instability, structural racism, food insecurity. Sound familiar? Sounds like the good old 901. But so we're always focusing on crime, crime, crime. Why are people doing this? This is why. This is why. Not to excuse it. It's not like she said, we're not trying to excuse it. We're explaining the reason. We need an explanation for why somebody would do some of the things that they're doing. This explains it all. That's why this video is so important. And this focus on Memphis. So this came straight from our town.
If our only response is we're going to lock you up, then we're creating the monsters that we fear.
To top it off,
man, we're creating the monsters that we fear, that we talk about, the water coolers, that we always, what about crime? What about this? Why are they stealing? Why are they doing this? Yeah, just gave you all the reasons.
Violence is plaguing the city. Children bearing witness far too often, navigating their way through crime tape on their way to school. They've become victims or lost relatives. That adds more trauma.
It's not a life that the children in Memphis want.
Students have called out for help on our newscast as their schools have tried to address their mounting needs. Memphis Shelby County Schools didn't agree to an interview, but told us it's invested in health, safety, and social emotional learning, including $100 million in supports, social workers, behavior specialists, and family well.
Now, Memphis City Schools invested $100 million into this. This is what I'm saying. Do we feel this? Do we feel like the kids are getting the attention that they need? $100 million for social emotional support, social workers, behavior specialists, family wellness centers? Or did somebody pocket that money? Because if everybody else has been corrupt, I know what that $100 million is going to do to you. I know what that $100 million is going to do to you when you first touch your hands. If you don't know, if you ain't got it in you, bro, you finna run with that.
Wellness centers, another $500,000 from CDC COVID mental health supplements, and $22 million in mentors and counseling programs. Its initiatives include trauma-informed parenting sessions and an emotional support hotline. MSCS assured us progress is being made, claiming it's reached thousands of students and curbed suspensions and gang-related incidents. They vow to continue to grow partnerships.
Nice, deep inhale in through the nose.
Like this one with Ford.
One of the biggest takeaways is that we're still recovering.
And believes focusing on prevention,
love and light,
is the only way out.
Namaste.
Jessica Gertler, WREG, News Channel 3.
Read The Theory of Human Motivation, 1943. Check that out. Bet. Housing, food, water, clothes, safety, basic needs must be met first. Yeah. But, I mean, and we got to get rid of the corrupt. You know, you got to have, they have to have fear too, man. And power's always in the people, right? Yeah. Last one. Before we get into this, John Moran's got a new shoe out. Check that joint out. It's relevant to Memphis. I support the young brother. He's from this. You don't want smoke. I think it's the smoke. You don't want smoke edition, whatever. It's a nice shoe. Nice. But, yeah. I want to get to this major thing before we get out of here, though. This is major. So, pause this. Oh, shit. Yeah, all right. So, Judge Brown talked about something with the Tyree niggas. Man, it's just so much. Yeah, them John Morants, them Johns is nice. We're going to get back to the jobs because they hate it on the city, too. But, Judge Brown said something about the Tyree Nichols case, right? And I just wanted to spotlight because, man, it was just so much corruption that just came across my timeline. And we got to spotlight some of these things, bro. So check this out. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but It's enough that you're gonna get what I'm pointing at.
Sorry. It came out that the 5 ex-Memphis policemen charged with civil rights violation in Tyree Nichols' death. So they were charged in a federal court on Tuesday with violating the civil rights of Black motorist Tyree Nichols by beating him to death after a traffic stop and engaging in a cover-up. The officers in 4-count indictment returned by a federal grand jury are accused of obscuring body camera recordings of the assault and lying to their superiors. The federal indictment is separate from the charges of second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and official misconduct previously brought by local prosecutors in Tennessee state court against the ex-officers, all of them African American. I guess they need to constantly.
Judge hit the coffee before he went in. Look, yeah, they hit the coffee. You need to go and get right first.
Relay that. So I wanted to get your thoughts on, the whole thing of the
This was
indictment.
not a case of random motorists stopped by 5 cops who mistreated somebody. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fraternity brothers who had a grievance because the deceased was allegedly screwing one of them's baby mama, another one's wife, and was trying to screw a third one's wife. And the third one's wife told, allegedly, and they confronted him. He didn't stop, so they were going to kick his butt. But he had Crohn's disease, and as a result of that, he suffered internal bleeding and he died. He was 6'5" and 145 pounds.
All right, so can the feds uncover this? Because Judge O'Brien says that Tyree was sleeping with some baby mamas and some wives, and a third one. I don't think that's kind of unbelievable about this to me is how all 3 of you all's baby mama's wife, fiance, whatever, all in the same place just because all of you work with each other. How does he have access to all of y'all, all of your women like that, bro? They don't really, I mean, people I've worked with, our women don't even know each other until they meet each other through us, I just I can't really understand that. I mean, if it's a possibility because we heard that. Now, what's going is favoring them, and what the judge is saying is the way they pulled them over and the way they treated them. Seemed like they had motives, clearly. But I always lean towards it's just how people act when they're in power and they think they can get away with it. They're going to do it. But, yeah, he said that what we heard in the streets is true, y'all. So I don't understand how the feds haven't been able to reveal this unless it's some covering up going on.
Tyree Nichols.
Yes. So there are 700 or so other people that have died in the last 2.5 years. So I think it is grossly unfair to all of the other deceased to ignore them and focus on this because Kamala Imhoff, Hyena Harris showed up, and Chicken Sharpton showed up, and Ben Crump showed up, and the chief was trying to cover for her failures of leadership, and the current mayor was trying to prop things so he could get an extra term after he term limited out, and several of the candidates, one of who showed up to glad-hand all of the above and sit on the stage like a pompous penguin with the other suspects. Well, they're all trying to hype it. The sheriff is hyping it, and he has a problem in that since he has been sheriff at a place we call 201 Poplar, where all of the criminal courts, the misdemeanor courts, felony courts, the police department, sheriff's department, public defender's office, prosecutor's office, city courts, etc., are located. In that building, under his custody and control, the sheriff has had 52 people murdered there in the time he's been in office. So he has no solved crimes, and Amnesty International has declared that place second only to Rikers Island as being the most dangerous place in America for somebody to be if they are locked up. And these people haven't been convicted. They just can't make bond pre-trials. So,
oof, man. Hey, get him, Judge. Man. Yeah. I just wanted to play that, bro. He revealed a lot of things there with that, just in that moment. This is something to think about, man. I just think the eye in the sky is real, and we're seeing a lot of things for who they are, for what they are, and a lot of people for who they are. So, I mean, we saw what Floyd Bonner said about he's riding with the sheriffs, with the deputies that did that downtown, or whatever, the workers or whatnot. That happened with it, where it beat the guy, Gershun Freeman. We just heard Judge O'Brien talk about how many people are getting killed and how they cover it up and how they haven't solved anything. Man. The main thing that I took away from that was the cellmates and the witnesses and the people that were locked up with Gershun Freeman, bro. And how they fear to even say something about it. So how do we fix these things, man? With people being afraid to come to the forefront with all this corruption going on. But the mob got you, you know. So they try to do something to us. We're going to keep exposing the truth, man. And even when then, hey, once the truth is out, nothing you can do about it. Somebody will pick it up and keep it going. Sorry to hear about Tamia Taylor. Floyd Bonner, bad decision. Judge O'Brien, thanks for the revealing. And mental health, man, we got to fix these things. And I feel like this on this last line. Why are we still teaching physical education? Which is okay, but when are we going to add mental education into the school curriculum? And that's what they were talking about with yoga and the practice about knowing anger management, conflict resolution. I mean, you got to think about Memphis in 2043. We got to think about America in 2043 and beyond. Think about the future. And like she said, man, we're not trying to give an excuse. We need an explanation for a lot of things that we're seeing. It would help with a lot because right now all we have is confusion. Complete confusion. That being said, it's the mob. Memphis OVER BULL. And we out.